the Fairfax House. One of the finest Georgian townhouses in all of England. Located at number 27, Castlegate, York, England, and winner of the 2025 Historic Houses Collections Award. This beautiful Georgian townhouse was built in the 1740s and purchased in 1755 by Lord Charles Fairfax, the 9th Viscount Fairfax of Emley, shortly after the sudden and tragic death of his second wife, Mary Fairfax. It was at this time that Lord Fairfax also commissioned John Carr, the 18th century neoclassical architect, to reconstruct the interior of the Fairfax House. This reconstruction was completed by 1762. In 1720, Lord Charles Fairfax married Lady Elizabeth Clifford, Viscountess of Dunbar. This marriage only lasted 6 short months, as Lady Elizabeth Clifford contracted smallpox and died in 1721. Since 2023, Lady Elizabeth Clifford's portrait has been permanently housed at the Fairfax House. Lord Charles Fairfax married his second wife, Mary Fairfax, in 1722. Of all their 9 children, only one survived past childhood. Anne Fairfax, who inherited the Fairfax House in 1772 upon her father's passing. Now, please join me as we take a walk through one of England's most sophisticated Georgian townhouses, the Fairfax House. I am here today at the Fairfax House in York. This is an 18th century home that was refurbished in 1980s. It's entirely furnished with 18th century furniture as well that was brought back to the house. What a fascinating history. It's gorgeous. You know, I love the Georgian era, and just wanting to do a little bit of a video here. Here's the front room. And that's Anne, and he is Lord Charles. Okay, Lord Fairfax. This is the man who originally built the house, and I love this desk, which apparently was made in England, right? It was 18th century, and then the mouse. It's absolutely adorable. Thank you so much, and they're fantastic tour guides as well. Thank you. And this is the beautiful dining area, and of course being a musician, I'm going to love this miniature harpsichord. That is absolutely beautiful. I've got to find out if it still works. These beautiful paintings of the family members here in this room as well. And this actually looks like a very delicious dinner. One that I would like to attend, and look at all the desserts over here. And clearly some family china there, as well as silver plates. This is so adorable. So they've recreated a kitchen that would have been farther to the left of the house originally, but this shows us what it might have looked like. It is so beautiful. It's just absolutely lovely and delicately designed. The colors, the china they have in here is really quite something to see, especially those of you who are interested in 18th century Georgian history like me. This is such a beautiful staircase. Okay, this is the stairwell to the upstairs, and I just love that there was a nice portrait here of King George III, and then these beautiful musical excerpts from the 18th century. I just love this. So, 2 18th century pianos in here, and also some beautiful pieces of artwork. The next room we will see was the bedroom of Lord Charles Fairfax. But let's see what it might have been like to be a guest at the Fairfax House in the 18th century. Good morning, everyone. I am about to check into my guest room at the house of Lord Charles Fairfax. They've picked out the linens especially for me. I have some beautiful artwork to look at while I'm here, and also a lovely cozy fireplace. This is absolutely gorgeous, and a beautiful window of leaden light. Oh, and they have not forgotten that I'm a writer, so here's my beautiful desk. This is fantastic. First of all, this is a guest room in Lord Fairfax's house. This door right here is one of the doors that you close and it becomes part of the wall. So it's basically like a secret door, I guess. Fantastic. And so let's go in here in the drawing room. I am just loving this painting and absolutely loving that blue velvet suit. Wow. I have to check out who that is. And then I believe this is Anne, who wound up inheriting the estate after her father died, and she never married, apparently. And all of this is 18th century furniture, which is quite amazing. So here is the second piano in the Lord Fairfax home. And it is so beautiful. This apparently was made by a piano maker who's not far from here in 1792. And then also there is a beautiful metronome over there, which I think is fantastic. And guys, this is the saloon. I love it, all the games. The Fairfax family was Catholic during a time when England was predominantly Protestant. In fact, Catholic friends and family members frequented the Fairfax House for dining and entertainment. In the 18th century, music was a popular source of entertainment. 2 18th century pianos are housed in the Fairfax House, one of which is a 1769 John Kersham of Manchester spinet, a miniature harpsichord favored among 18th century aristocrats. It was common for young ladies of the Georgian era to learn to play piano and sing. The stand-up mahogany piano, located in the saloon, On the second floor of the Fairfax House, displayed a lovely piece of 18th century music composed for piano and voice. This song was entitled For December 1758, Belinda and Amelia, a favorite dialogue.
I felt your beauties more, for you I languish every hour, for you I languish every hour.
This delightful love song represents the elegance of the Georgian era and provides an example of the type of song that might have been heard at one of the parties held at the Fairfax House in the 18th century. Among the guests that visited the Fairfax House were Jacobite followers, including the man shown in this portrait, who is wearing a white handkerchief which not only illuminates the beauty of this blue velvet suit, but also secretly represents his Catholic Jacobite devotion. Jacobites were followers of the Jacobean kings, specifically the Roman Catholic James II of England. In 1688, James II was overthrown by his Protestant daughter, Mary II, and her Dutch husband, William III of Orange, an event now known as the Glorious Revolution. By the time Lord Fairfax purchased the Fairfax House, the second of the Protestant Georgian kings was sitting on the throne. Beginning in 1760, King George III would be the reigning monarch for the remainder of Anne Fairfax's life. In fact, today you can see a beautiful portrait of King George III hanging in the stairwell of the Fairfax House. However, after James II died in 1701, the Jacobites continued in their efforts to place the heir of James II on the throne. The Jacobites believed that James II's son, James Francis Edward Stuart, also known as the Old Pretender, was the rightful heir. Even after James Edward Stuart died in 1766, the Old Pretender's son, Charles Edward Stuart, better known as Bonnie Prince Charlie, was deemed the rightful heir to the throne by the Jacobites. Although the Jacobites were defeated at the Battle of Culloden in 1746, which took place not far from Inverness, Scotland, Jacobitism persisted well into the 18th century and included followers from England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. The Act of Settlement, passed by the English Parliament in 1701, forbade any future King of England from being Catholic or being married to a Catholic wife. The rights of Catholic citizens of 18th century England were also restricted. Anne Fairfax and her family stayed strong in their Catholic faith in spite of these disabilities. And by the end of the 18th century, many of these legislative restrictions were reversed. In any case, the history of the Fairfax House illuminates the lives of an aristocratic family of 18th century England, and the life of a brave and courageous young woman, Anne Fairfax, who never married but remained the sole heiress to her father's entire estate, including Gilling, Coulton, Ampleforth, and the Fairfax House. Number 27, Castlegate, York, England. One of England's most sophisticated and treasured Georgian townhouses. The Fairfax House.